The rise of hydro weapons. In a galaxy filled with strange worlds and powerful beings, a new weapon emerged that changed everything. It was called the hydro weapon. This weapon could control water in ways no one had ever seen before. It could create massive waves, flood cities, and wipe out entire armies. The aliens who had dominated the galaxy for centuries feared this weapon, and for good reason. The hydro weapon was invented by a highly advanced alien race known as the Zorathians. They had long been the rulers of the galaxy, using their superior technology to conquer weaker species. The Zorathians believed the hydro weapon would make them invincible. With this new tool, they planned to crush any remaining opposition. News of the hydro weapon spread quickly through the galaxy. The message was clear: the Zorathians were coming, and they were armed with a weapon that could change the course of history. Other alien races began to panic. The hydro weapon had the power to flood entire planets, destroying cities and civilizations in an instant. Fear gripped the hearts of many. On a small blue planet called Earth, things were different. Humans had always been seen as the underdogs of the galaxy. They were considered weak and primitive compared to other races. Many aliens laughed at the thought of humans being a threat. They believed that with the hydro weapon in play, humanity would be wiped out easily. But humans were not so easily defeated. A brave woman named Captain Mia was determined to protect her people. She gathered a team of scientists and engineers to learn more about the hydro weapon. Together, they studied its effects and the technology behind it. "We can't let the Zorathians take our planet without a fight," Captain Maya declared. "We need to understand their weapon and find a way to defend ourselves." As they researched, they discovered something surprising. The hydro weapon needed a lot of energy to function. It drew power from the atmosphere and could be disrupted if the conditions were changed. This information sparked hope among the humans. Mia and her team began to develop a plan. If they could manipulate the weather and the environment, they might weaken the hydro weapon. They started to build devices that could alter air pressure and humidity. It was a risky idea, but it was their best chance. Meanwhile, the Zorathians began their campaign of terror. They attacked several planets, using the hydro weapon to flood cities and destroy everything in their path. Reports of devastation poured in from all corners of the galaxy. Fear spread like wildfire, and many races surrendered without a fight. The aliens looked at the hydro weapon with a mix of awe and dread. Its power was unmatched. They watched in horror as entire worlds were submerged underwater. It seemed the Zorathians would be unstoppable. However, as the Zorathians celebrated their victories, Captain Mia's team worked day and night. They experimented with their devices, testing them in secret. Mia knew that time was running out. The longer they waited, the more powerful the Zorathians became. One evening, as the sun set over Earth, Mia gathered her team. "We have to act fast," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "The Zorathians won't stop until they've taken everything from us. We need to prepare for an attack." Her team nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. They spent weeks fine-tuning their inventions, making sure they could work under pressure. They also began to train, preparing themselves mentally and physically for the battles ahead. Despite the fear that lingered in the air, there was a sense of unity among the humans. They realized that they had to fight for their home. They could no longer be seen as weak. They were willing to stand up and prove their worth, not just to themselves, but to the entire galaxy. As rumors of the hydro weapon spread, other races began to take notice. Some began to wonder if the humans could really make a stand against the Zorathians. Could they be more than what others thought? Days turned into weeks, and the time for action was drawing near. Captain Mia knew they could not do this alone. They needed allies. It was time to reach out to the other races suffering under Zorathian rule. If they could unite, they could create a force strong enough to challenge the hydro weapon. Only just begun. With determination in her heart, Mia began sending messages to other planets. She explained the truth about the hydro weapon and called for unity. "Together, we can find a way to fight back." Together, we can protect our worlds. As she sent out these messages, hope blossomed in the hearts of those who received them. Many were inspired by the courage of the humans. For the first time, they began to believe they could fight back against the Zorathian threat. The rise of the Hydro weapon had instilled fear across the galaxy, but it also sparked a flame of resistance. As the humans prepared for the battle ahead, they knew that they had to show everyone that they were not as weak as they seemed. They had the power to change their fate. And so, the stage was set. The Hydro weapons might be powerful, but humanity was about to show the galaxy just how strong they could be. The fight for survival hath called to arms. As the sun rose over Earth, Captain Maya stood on the bridge of her ship, the Unity. The crew bustled around her, their energy palpable as they prepared for their first mission. In the weeks since they had started their campaign against the Hydro weapons, excitement and determination had grown among the crew. They were ready to fight. Maya looked at the holographic display in front of her, showing the different planets that had suffered under Zorathian attacks. Many were asking for help, and they needed a strong response. Mia knew that time was of the essence. Every moment they delayed meant more worlds would be flooded and more lives lost. "Today, we make our move," she announced, her voice strong and clear. "We will reach out to our allies and gather forces. We cannot face the Zorathians alone." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. They were ready to stand up for their planet and for the innocent lives that had been lost. Mia had a plan. They would start by visiting the nearby planet of Verdanus, which was home to a peaceful but technologically advanced race called the Verdanians. They had suffered from Zorathian attacks, but had managed to survive due to their hidden defenses. If they could convince the Verdanians to join forces, they would have a powerful ally. As they prepared for the jump to Verdanus, Maya felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She knew that this could be a turning point in their fight against the Zorathians. However, the outcome was uncertain. The Verdanians were known for their cautious nature and reluctance to engage in conflicts. After what felt like an eternity, the Unity entered the orbit of Verdanus. The planet was lush and green, with towering trees and vast oceans that sparkled under the sun. It was a beautiful sight, one that Mia hoped to protect. As they descended toward the surface, Mia gathered her team in the meeting room. She explained their strategy to convince the Verdanians to join them. "We need to show them the threat that the Zorathians pose," she said. "If they see that we are serious about fighting back, they may choose to help us." The crew nodded, each one aware of the stakes involved. After landing, they were greeted by the Verdanians, tall and slender beings with shimmering skin that reflected the sunlight. Their leader, High Counselor Leora, stepped forward, her expression a mix of curiosity and wariness. "Welcome, humans," she said, her voice soft yet commanding. "We have heard of your struggles against the Zorathians. What brings you to our world?" Mia stepped forward, taking a deep breath to calm her nerves. "High Counselor Leora, we need your help. The Zorathians have unleashed their Hydro weapons, causing devastation across the galaxy. We cannot stand alone against them. We seek an alliance." Leora listened carefully, her eyes narrowing as Mia spoke. She glanced at her council members, who exchanged uneasy looks. "We understand the gravity of the situation, but we must consider the risks. Joining you could put Verdanus in danger." "We understand your hesitation," Maya replied, her voice steady. "But if we don't unite, we will all fall to the Zorathians. They won't stop until they have conquered every world. We have developed technology to counteract their Hydro weapons. Together, we can fight back." The room fell silent as Leora contemplated Mia's words. The tension was palpable. Mia knew that convincing the Verdanians would be difficult. However, she could see the flicker of hope in Leora's eyes, and she pressed on. "We can protect your planet and your people," Mia continued. "We will share our technology with you, and we can train together. We have a chance to defeat the Zorathians and take back our freedom." After a long pause, Leora nodded slowly. "We will consider your proposal, But you must understand, if we agree to this alliance, we will do everything in our power to protect our world." Mia felt a surge of hope. "Thank you, Counselor. Together, we will create a strategy to fight back." As they discussed plans, Maya felt the weight of the galaxy pressing down on her shoulders. She knew the stakes were high, and their success relied on building a strong coalition. They spent the next few days working closely with the Verdanians, sharing knowledge and developing countermeasures against the Hydro weapons. The crew of the Unity trained alongside the Verdanians, forging a bond that transcended their differences. As they practiced tactics and improved their technologies, Mia could see the determination in the eyes of everyone involved. They were ready to fight for their homes. But just as things began to look promising, disaster struck. During a training exercise, an alarm blared through the facility. A Zorathian scout ship had been spotted near Verdanus. Panic erupted in the training center as the crew scrambled for cover. Mia knew they had to act fast. "We need to prepare for an attack," she shouted. "Everyone to their battle stations. We have to defend Verdanus." As they raced to their ships, Maya felt a mix of fear and adrenaline. This was it. They were about to face the Zorathians head-on. She hoped their preparations would be enough. With her heart pounding, Maya took her place at the helm of the Unity, ready to defend their new allies. She knew that this battle would be crucial, not just for Verdanus, but for the future of every planet in the galaxy. As the Zorathian ship descended, the crew of the Unity prepared for their first real fight. The rise of the Hydro weapons had brought fear, but now it had also ignited a spark of resistance. Together, humans and Verdanians would show the galaxy what true strength looked like. The clash of forces. The Unity soared through the skies of Verdanus, its sleek form glinting under the sun. Captain Maya stood at the helm, her fingers poised above the controls. The atmosphere was thick with tension as the crew prepared for the impending clash with the Zorathians. Everyone was on high alert, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. "Zorathian ship detected. They're entering the atmosphere," shouted Lieutenant Raj, his voice breaking through the silence. The holographic display on the bridge showed the approaching Zorathian vessel, a monstrous ship bristling with weaponry. Mia's heart raced. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had to hold their ground. "Steady, everyone," Mia commanded, her voice firm. "We've trained for this. Remember our strategies." As the Zorathian ship descended, it unleashed a barrage of energy blasts that lit up the sky. Mia maneuvered the Unity to dodge the incoming fire, the ship responding smoothly to her commands. The crew worked in sync, each member knowing their role. They had to protect Verdanus at all costs. "Return fire," Mia ordered, her heart pounding. The ship's cannons erupted with energy blasts, striking the Zorathian vessel. The impact caused a ripple of cheers from the crew. They were fighting back. But the Zorathian ship was relentless. It retaliated with powerful blasts, shaking the Unity to its core. Mia gripped the controls, her knuckles white. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We need to draw them away from Verdanus." The crew quickly adjusted their strategy, aiming to lure the Zorathian ship away from the planet. They darted through the skies, weaving in and out of the clouds. The Zorathians followed, their ship relentless in pursuit. "Captain, we're taking heavy damage," Raj reported, his voice strained. "Shields are at 60%. "You said." Mia gritted her teeth. "They had to hold on just a little longer. We can't give up. We need to protect the planet and the Verdanians." Just as despair began to creep in, the Verdanians joined the fray. Their ships, smaller but incredibly agile, flew in to assist. Mia watched in awe as they engaged the Zorathians, their technology proving effective against the larger ship. "Verdanian ships are on our side," Raj exclaimed, relief flooding his voice. "They're flanking the Zorathians." The combined efforts of the Unity and the Verdanians began to turn the tide of the battle. The air crackled with energy as the two forces worked together. Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. They were not alone. "Captain, they're breaking formation," shouted Ensign Lai, pointing to the Zorathian ship on the display. "They're trying to retreat. Don't let them get away." Mia yelled, "We have to finish this." The Unity and the Verdanians pressed the attack, unleashing everything they had. The Zorathian ship began to falter under the relentless assault. Maya felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were close to victory. But just as she thought they might win, the Zorathian ship deployed a massive hydro weapon. It shot forth a torrent of water, aimed directly at Verdanus. Mia's heart dropped. "They're targeting the planet. We have to stop it. Reinforce shields," Raj shouted. "We can't let that weapon hit the ground." Mia steered the Unity toward the incoming hydroblast, determined to shield Verdanus from destruction. The crew worked feverishly, their voices echoing across the bridge as they reinforced the ship's shields. They could not let fear paralyze them. They had to act. As the hydro weapon approached, Maya felt a surge of determination. "On my mark, activate the countermeasures," she shouted, rallying her crew. "Now." The crew activated the countermeasures, releasing a burst of energy that collided with the hydro weapon. The two forces clashed, creating a brilliant explosion that lit up the sky. For a moment, everything was silent, and then came the shockwave. The Unity shuddered, and Maya felt herself thrown against the controls. "Status report," she yelled, regaining her footing. "Shields holding, but barely." Raj replied, panic creeping into his voice. "We're taking on more damage." Mia's heart raced as she saw the Zorathian ship attempt to flee in the chaos. They were hurt but not defeated. "We can't let them escape," she shouted. "We need to finish this now." The crew rallied once more, focusing all their efforts on the retreating Zorathian ship. The Verdanians flew alongside them, launching a final wave of attacks. The Zorathian ship was severely damaged, and with one last shot, the Unity struck true. The Zorathian ship erupted in a fireball, illuminating the sky. Maya let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. They had done it. They had won. Cheers erupted across the bridge as the crew celebrated their hard-fought victory. Mia smiled, relief washing over her. They had defended Verdanus, and more importantly, forged a powerful alliance with the Verdanians. As the crew began to assess the damage and regroup, Mia knew this was only the beginning. The battle against the Zorathians was far from over, but they had proven that together, they could stand against any threat. With their spirits high, they set a course for their next mission. The galaxy was counting on them, and together they would show that humanity. And their new allies were a force to be reckoned with. The aftermath of victory. The atmosphere aboard the Unity buzzed with excitement and relief. Captain Maya surveyed her crew as they celebrated their hard-fought victory against the Zorathians. Cheers echoed around the bridge, but Maya felt the weight of responsibility settle back on her shoulders. This was a moment to rejoice, yet the battles ahead loomed larger than ever. "Okay, everyone, let's get to work," Mia called out, raising her voice above the commotion. "We need to assess our damage and check on Verdanus. We can't celebrate just yet." The crew quickly shifted their focus, exchanging their joyous cheers for urgent determination. Lieutenant Raj hurried to the damage control console, his fingers flying over the keys as he pulled up diagnostics. "Captain, we took heavy hits, but our main systems are still operational," he reported. "Shields are down to 30%, and we'll need repairs before we engage again." Mia nodded, grateful for the news. "Good work, Raj. Set a course for Verdanus. We need to check on the planet and ensure the hydro weapons didn't cause any serious damage." As the Unity altered its course toward Verdanus, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that their victory over the Zorathians had merely postponed a larger conflict. The hydro weapons had been powerful, and their enemies were clearly willing to resort to extreme measures. "Captain, we're approaching Verdanus," Raj announced, breaking her thoughts. Maya looked out the viewport. The planet glimmered with life, But the remnants of battle were evident. Smoke rose from several areas, and the once vibrant landscape now bore the scars of war. Her heart sank. "Let's establish contact with the Verdanians," she said. "We need to know the extent of the damage and how we can help." Raj worked quickly, sending a transmission to the Verdanians. After a few moments, a holographic image appeared in front of them, displaying the Verdanians' leader, Zethar. His expression was grave, the vibrant colors of his skin dulled by worry. "Captain Mia," Zethar greeted, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "We are grateful for your assistance in the battle, but we have much to discuss. The Hydra weapons have caused damage to several regions, and many of our people are in need of aid." Mia nodded, her heart aching for the Verdanians. "We'll do everything we can to help. I want to send supplies and medical assistance immediately." Zethar's eyes glimmered with appreciation. "Your support means a great deal to us. Together, we can begin to heal our land and people." The crew sprang into action, coordinating with the Verdanians to send aid where it was needed most. They organized supplies and medical teams, setting up a plan to assist the planet's recovery. As Mia watched her crew work tirelessly, she felt a swell of pride. They were not just fighting for survival, they were building bonds of trust and solidarity. Hours turned into days as they coordinated relief efforts. The atmosphere aboard the Unity shifted from a battle-ready tension to a collaborative spirit. The crew learned to work alongside the Verdanians, sharing their resources and knowledge. Maya felt a sense of purpose grow within her as they forged this new alliance. One evening, while reviewing reports in her quarters, Maya received a message from Zethar. The Verdanians had found an ancient text describing the Hydra weapons' origins and their weaknesses. Maya's interest piqued as she read through the details. "Raj, come in here," she called, eager to share the discovery. Raj entered, curiosity in his eyes. "What is it, Captain?" "Zethar sent us information about the Hydra weapons. According to their ancient texts, these weapons can be countered with concentrated energy bursts from our ships," she explained, her excitement growing. "If we can harness this knowledge, we might be able to neutralize them before they can use them against us again." Raj's eyes widened. "That's incredible. We need to test this theory immediately." Mia nodded, feeling a rush of determination. "Let's gather the crew. This could change the tide of our battle against the Zorathians. Launch our fighters," Mia commanded, watching as the small ships zoomed away from the Unity. "We need to engage them at a distance." Fighter pilots filled the air with shouts of determination as they flew into action, weaving in and out of enemy fire. The Verdanians, their sleek ships complementing the Unity, joined the fray. Together, they formed a formidable front against the advancing Zorathian forces. But the Zorathians had a new strategy. Instead of targeting the Unity directly, they unleashed a wave of Hydra weapons towards the Verdanians' positions. The vibrant colors of the Hydra weapons lit up the space like fireworks, a beautiful but deadly display. "Captain, they're targeting the Verdanians," Raj shouted, panic rising in his voice. "No," Mia cried, feeling a knot tighten in her stomach. "We have to protect them. Divert power to the energy burst shields. We can't let them destroy the Verdanians," Mia commanded, her voice steadied despite her fear. As the Zorathians fired their Hydra weapons, the Unity unleashed a concentrated energy burst, creating a protective barrier around the Verdanians. The Hydra weapons collided with the energy, causing a blinding flash. Mia held her breath, hoping their strategy would hold. When the light faded, they saw that the barrier had absorbed most of the impact, but the energy was wavering. They couldn't maintain it for long. "Captain, the energy levels are dropping," Raj warned, sweat glistening on his forehead. "We need to recharge." Mia felt the weight of the situation pressing down on her. "We can't let them break through. All remaining ships, fall back and regroup near the Unity. We'll make our stand here." The Verdanians pulled back, joining the Unity as they formed a defensive line. As they regrouped, Mia's mind raced. They had to think quickly, or they would lose everything they had fought for. "Raj, can we charge our weapons and launch a counterstrike?" she asked. "It's risky, but we can try," Raj replied, his fingers flying across the console. "Then do it. Prepare for a focused attack on their lead ship," Mia commanded, her voice unwavering. As they powered up their weapons, the Zorathian ships closed in, their hydro weapons reloaded and ready to fire. "Now," Mia shouted. "Fire!" A concentrated blast shot out from the Unity, striking the lead Zorathian ship. The impact was devastating, causing it to break apart in a spectacular explosion. Cheers erupted among the crew, but Mia knew they couldn't let their guard down. "Keep firing. Don't let up," she shouted, watching as their coordinated efforts began to turn the tide of the battle. But the Zorathians were not easily deterred. They pressed forward, launching hydro weapons with renewed fury. One hit the Unity directly, and alarms blared throughout the ship. "Shields down to 10%. Raj yelled. "We need to retreat." Mia's heart raced as she assessed their options. They had come too far to back down now, but they were running out of time. "Prepare to jump to hyperspace. We need to regroup and strategize," she ordered, feeling the weight of her crew's lives resting on her shoulders. "Jump coordinates set," Raj announced, his eyes wide with determination. As the Zorathians closed in, the Unity slipped into hyperspace, narrowly escaping the barrage of hydro weapons. Mia breathed a sigh of relief, her heart still pounding. "We'll regroup and come back stronger," she promised her crew. "This isn't over yet." As the Unity traveled through hyperspace, Mia's resolve hardened. They had faced their first real test, and though they had not emerged unscathed, they had also gained valuable insights. "Together, we'll turn this around," she whispered, looking out at the stars. "We will show them what humanity and the Verdanians can achieve when united." The strategy of unity. After a narrow escape, the Unity emerged from hyperspace near a distant planet, a vibrant blue world that glowed under its sun. Mia gathered her crew for a crucial meeting in the ship's main conference room. The atmosphere was tense. They had survived the initial encounter, but the threat of the Zorathians loomed larger than ever. "Thank you all for your hard work," Mia began, addressing her crew and the Verdanians. "We have faced a significant challenge, but we must now strategize our next move." Raj, the first officer, stood beside her. "We need to find a way to neutralize the Zorathian threat once and for all. Their hydro weapons are devastating, but we have learned how to counter them. We need to refine our energy burst strategy and improve our tactics." A Verdian leader named Korin spoke up, his voice low and steady. "We also have ancient texts that might offer more insights. We must analyze them further. There may be hidden knowledge about the hydro weapons and how to exploit their weaknesses." Mia nodded, grateful for Korin's wisdom. "That's a good idea. Let's split into teams. One team will work on refining our energy burst tactics while the other studies the ancient texts." The crew moved swiftly, energy buzzing in the air as they divided tasks. Mia joined the team focused on improving their weaponry, brainstorming ideas with Raj and a few engineers. They huddled around a holographic display, tracing the trajectory of the hydro weapons during the last battle. "We can adjust the burst frequency," Mia suggested. "If we match the Zorathian frequency, we might be able to destabilize their weapons before they hit us." Raj nodded, enthusiasm igniting in his eyes. "Yes, if we can create a disruption field at the right moment, it could render their hydro weapons useless." Meanwhile, Korin and his team delved into the ancient texts. Hours passed, and a ship was filled with focused energy. As the day wore on, Korin's voice broke through the silence. "Captain, we may have found something significant." Mia rushed to Korin's side, her heart racing. "What did you find?" Korin pointed at a passage in the text. "It speaks of a Zorathian weakness, a flaw in their hydro weapon design. It said that if the weapons are exposed to a specific frequency, they can backfire, causing catastrophic failure." Mia's mind raced. We can use that. If we can integrate this frequency into our energy burst, we could turn their own weapons against them. Raj leaned closer, excitement bubbling. We'll need to modify our systems quickly. If we can manage it, we might be able to make our next encounter their last. The crew rallied around the new plan, everyone energized by the prospect of a decisive victory. They worked tirelessly through the night, fueled by coffee and determination. The ship's engineers toiled to modify the energy burst systems, while Corin's team prepared to integrate the new frequency. As dawn broke, Mia gathered everyone once again. We are on the brink of something extraordinary. We have come together as allies, and this will be our strength. Remember what we stand for: unity, courage, and the will to protect each other. Cheers erupted from the crew, filling the ship with renewed hope. Finally, after hours of hard work, Raj reported, "Captain, we're ready. The new energy burst system is operational, and we can generate the frequency we need." "Excellent," Maya said, determination shining in her eyes. "Let's prepare for battle." They set their course back to the Zorathian fleet, the crew's adrenaline pumping with each passing moment. The vastness of space stretched before them, filled with uncertainty but also the promise of victory. As they approached the Zorathian stronghold, Mia could see the dark shapes of their ships forming a menacing blockade. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the confrontation ahead. "Remember, we need to stay focused," she reminded her crew. "Our first task is to neutralize their hydro weapons before they can unleash them on us." The crew nodded, determination etched on their faces. "Ready the energy burst systems," Mia commanded. "Let's show them the power of unity." The unity moved forward, and the Zorathians quickly picked up their presence. They turned their ships, preparing to unleash a volley of hydro weapons. "Now," Mia shouted as the Zorathian ships began their attack. "Fire the energy burst." A bright wave of energy shot out from the unity, enveloping the approaching hydro weapons. The atmosphere crackled with energy as the frequency aligned perfectly. A series of explosions rocked the Zorathian fleet, sending debris scattering in every direction. Mia could hardly believe her eyes. "It worked. We're hitting them." "Captain, we're getting readings on their systems," Raj reported. "The hydro weapons are destabilizing." With renewed hope, Mia pressed on. "Target the lead ship. Prepare another burst." The Unity unleashed another powerful shot, and the lead Zorathian ship erupted in flames, a beacon of victory in the dark expanse of space. "Keep it going. We can turn the tide," Mia shouted, her heart racing with excitement. The crew worked as a well-oiled machine, firing bursts of energy, watching as the Zorathian forces faltered under the pressure. But the Zorathians were not finished. They regrouped and began to retaliate. Hydro weapons flew through space like deadly missiles, but the Unity had anticipated their movements. "Raise shields," Raj yelled, activating the defenses as they absorbed the incoming fire. Mia's eyes darted around the view screen as explosions lit up the void. "We can't let them regroup. Push forward." With each burst of energy, they cut down Zorathian ships. Cheers erupted as the crew felt the tide of battle turning in their favor. "Look," Corin shouted. "They're breaking formation." The Zorathians, once a terrifying force, were now scrambling to regain control. The tide of battle was shifting, and Maya felt a swell of hope and pride in her crew. "Now is our chance," Mia cried. "Let's finish this." With one final surge of energy, the Unity unleashed a devastating blow, targeting the Zorathian command ship. As it crumbled before them, Mia felt a sense of triumph wash over her. "Victory is ours," she shouted, her voice ringing with exhilaration. As the remaining Zorathian ships fled, Maya turned to her crew, who were celebrating their hard-won victory. They had come together as allies, transcending their differences to fight for a common cause. "Together, we did this," Maya said, her heart full. "We've shown the Zorathians the strength of our unity and the power of humanity." The crew cheered, a chorus of hope and resilience echoing through the Unity. As they sailed through the remnants of the battle, Mia knew this was just the beginning. The bond forged in battle would carry them through whatever challenges lay ahead. They were not just a crew, they were a family, ready to face the universe together. A new dawn. In the aftermath of the battle, the Unity drifted through the remnants of the Zorathian fleet. The crew celebrated their hard-won victory, their spirits lifted by the triumph they had achieved together. Maya stood on the bridge, watching the stars twinkle in the vastness of space, feeling a sense of pride in her crew and their unity. As the cheers subsided, Mia called for attention. "I want to commend each and every one of you. Your courage, teamwork, and dedication were crucial to our success today. We stood against a formidable enemy and emerged victorious." The crew erupted in applause, their faces glowing with relief and joy. Raj stepped forward, grinning. "Captain, we've proven that the Zorathians underestimated us. They thought their hydro weapons made them invincible, but we showed them the true power of unity." Mia nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude. "We've also learned something vital. We are stronger together, no matter our backgrounds. Our differences make us unique, but it's our unity that gives us strength." Koran, the Verdian leader, approached Mia, his expression serious yet hopeful. "We must prepare for what comes next, Captain. The Zorathians may not stay quiet for long. They will seek revenge." Mia's face turned thoughtful. "You're right. We need to strengthen our defenses and develop new strategies. This victory is just the first step, and we must stay vigilant." With that, the crew returned to their duties. Engineers began repairing the ship, while others analyzed data from the battle. Mia knew their next move would be crucial. As she walked the halls of the Unity, she felt a deep bond forming with her crew and the Verdanians. They were no longer just allies. They were a family, united by shared experiences and the determination to protect one another. Days turned into weeks as the crew worked tirelessly, preparing for future encounters with the Zorathians. They trained together, sharing techniques and knowledge, pushing each other to grow stronger and more adept. One day, while reviewing battle data, Raj approached Mia. "Captain, I think we should consider forming alliances with other species. The Zorathians have a reputation for being ruthless, and we'll need all the help we can get." Mia contemplated Raj's suggestion. "That's a wise idea. If we can build a coalition, we can strengthen our position against the Zorathians. We need to reach out to other species who may also be threatened." With newfound determination, Mia organized a diplomatic mission to several nearby planets. They prepared their best arguments, focusing on the importance of unity against a common enemy. The crew was excited, eager to meet new allies and forge new bonds. As they traveled from planet to planet, Maya felt a renewed sense of purpose. She spoke passionately about the threat the Zorathians posed and the need for unity among species. Many were receptive to her message, and alliances began to form. On one particular planet, they met with a council of leaders from various species. Maya stood before them, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "We stand at a crossroads. The Zorathians have shown they will not hesitate to use their deadly hydro weapons against us. If we do not join forces, we risk losing everything." The council listened intently, exchanging glances as they considered her words. An elder from a species known for their intelligence spoke up. "You make a compelling argument, Captain, but can we trust your people? The Zorathians are cunning, and we have lost many in the past." Maya replied firmly, "Trust must be earned, and we are willing to prove ourselves. We fought together against the Zorathians and emerged victorious. Imagine what we could accomplish if we joined forces against them." After much deliberation, the council agreed to form an alliance, pledging their resources and support to the cause. As Maya left the meeting, a feeling of hope filled her heart. They were building something significant, a coalition that could stand against the Zorathians. The Unity continued to travel, visiting more planets and forging new alliances. With each successful meeting, Mia's confidence grew. They were not just a small crew anymore. They were part of something greater, a coalition of species united against a common enemy. As they returned to their base, Mia gathered her crew. "We've made incredible progress. We now have allies who stand with us against the Zorathians. Our coalition is growing stronger, and together, we will face whatever comes next." The crew cheered, their spirits soaring with the possibilities ahead. They knew the road would not be easy, but with unity as their guiding force, they felt ready to take on the universe. Weeks later, as they prepared for the next battle, Mia reflected on how far they had come. From the first encounter with the Zorathians to forming alliances with other species, they had turned the tide of war in their favor. "Captain," Rad said, breaking her thoughts, "we've received intelligence that the Zorathians are regrouping. They plan to strike again." Mia's expression turned serious. "Then we must be ready. We have prepared for this, and our allies will stand with us. Together, we can ensure that the Zorathians know they are no match for the strength of our unity." With determination in her heart, Mia rallied her crew and allies, ready to face the upcoming battle. They were no longer just individuals. They were a united force, determined to protect their homes and each other. As the stars shone brightly around them, they prepared for a new dawn, a dawn of unity, strength, and resilience.